And we're live.
Alrighty. Alright. Welcome back to the podcast, all
Episode
3
6.
of you, or however many of you.
It's more than 3.
Welcome back. We appreciate you joining us.
That's
Very
it.
excited. Episode 6 is,
Yeah, I'm feeling good about this one.
It's pretty crazy that this one feels kind of a little, just like suddenly we've hit our stride and we're just... Not saying the podcast
We'll just fall apart in the next 10 minutes. No. Fucking train wreck.
So, what are we here for again? No. But yeah, this is going to be, I don't know, feels like it's going to be a fun one. I'm more relaxed.
Yeah, me too.
You're more relaxed.
I'm pretty chill.
Honey's here. As per usual, she's not in the shot. So, if you ever hear us yelling at Honey and you guys never see her, she does exist, I swear. Yeah. She's just right there. And she ignores us the whole time. But, yeah, so welcome back to the podcast. If you're still listening or, if this is your first one you're listening to, welcome
Good luck.
A little project. Yeah, I mean, I hope you find some enjoyment out of this.
Yeah. We
got no idea what we're doing.
No. But who gives a fuck, right?
But we enjoy it.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what I mean?
It's fun.
Yeah, it's heaps of fun.
It's fun.
It's like a little stressful journey to find something to talk about every Monday.
Yeah, straight the fuck out. I don't really think about it until the Sunday night.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, tomorrow
on the Tuesday and the Wednesday afterwards, you're like, yeah, that was a good podcast, And then Thursday, you're like, oh yeah, I haven't really found anything. Friday, I don't think about shit. Saturday, I don't think about shit. And then Sunday, I'm like, I've still got nothing. I've still got nothing to talk about. This is terrible.
And then we sit down, we're like, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah, before we always hit record, we're like, so what are we talking about today? Yeah. No idea, mate. No idea.
Oh, well.
But we always find something, so it's all right. Like, we always, we get into it. It might take us like a few minutes, but we always seem to find our run in
I feel like
middle.
We always find a way to sort of drive the conversation.
Well, that's that's kind of the whole point of a podcast is, I mean, for us it's having fun, sure, but it's also like, it's a bit of a skill, learning how to make a conversation, to keep it going the whole time and not be stuttering and
Yeah, in a way that's entertaining, informative, but also you got to be careful.
Because then it's just smooth to listen to. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like it's easy to get lost. It's like finding a balance right between keeping it okay.
Yeah, because it's not the same as it's. I mean, in a way it is, but it's at the same time it's not the same as if we were to have a normal conversation without the microphones or the cameras.
It's way different.
So that does sort of. I mean, we try to make it as organic as we can, and I think we do that pretty well, but. Still.
Yeah, it always creeps in the back of your head that someone might be listening, and then it kind of shifts how you speak a little bit,
100%.
So, but again, we're just learning, and like I said, episode 6, it feels like so, we've done so many episodes already, but also we barely got into it, it feels like as well. So
yeah, it feels like we barely scratched the surface.
Barely scratched the surface, and...
slowly getting the hang of it.
Yeah, well, let's get straight right.
Yeah, let's get
straight into it. What happened there?
That was loud as... Whoa.
I don't know what that's going to sound like, guys. I hope we didn't stuff something up there. Our mic line just went all the way into red for some reason.
Mike was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, hopefully that's him.
All right.
Yep. Okay. Looks good. Anyway, let's get shit. Sorry, guys. That freaked us out a bit. Straight into it, as we like to talk about on here plenty of times. Space.
Yes.
The unknown. The black ocean.
Yes.
All the crazy shit out there. You just mentioned to me about the continuous story of the SpaceX launch. So what's going on now?
Well, the astronauts landed this morning. That was pretty awesome. Just to think, we send people up into fucking space. They're chilling up there for 2 months, doing a bunch of missions. We're emailing them shit for them to 3D print, doing their assignment, whatever, and then just fucking we're coming back now. Yeah, they landed this morning. I believe they sort of dropped in the near Gulf of Mexico. Sort of landed in the ocean. Yeah, I mean, from watching the stream, looks like everything went as smoothly as possible.
So what was the mission again? They went to the space station?
Yeah, they went up to space station just to do... I don't really know exactly what they were doing, but yeah, they had some shit to do up there. There's already actually astronauts still up there. These guys just went up for a couple of months. I think in a way also to teach the other astronauts out there on how to sort of come back with all the new technology and all the sort of new stuff they're doing. I was reading it somewhere yesterday that they've done some sort of like tests and demos and show them all the new tech and everything to astronauts.
So there's astronauts on the space station that are there for quite a long time. Yeah. Like so they got to be brought the knowledge. Jesus, imagine being on a space station for years.
Yeah.
You'd forget what it's like to be on Earth, probably. Because I reckon time would go a whole lot slower in space because you don't have as much.
Well, you don't really have a day and night cycle, right? Because the sun is always there.
Well, wait a minute. Wouldn't it be different? No, because because you're orbiting the Earth, and the Earth's still orbiting the sun. But are you like perpetually in the sun's view because your orbit kind of like counteracts the Earth's orbit, so you're always in view of the sun?
I think so.
Even as the Earth's turning around the sun in a space, like, because would there ever be a time when the Earth, you're
behind the Earth and the sun is on the other side?
Yeah, you're basically you come straight behind the Earth. Oh well, you would every now and then, no matter where the Earth's in orbit.
Well,
you would always have a moment where you're right behind the Earth, but it might be way different. The day-night cycle must be like so much.
Well, I mean, space is always dark, anyways, regardless. This, it's not like it has blue skies. It's just fucking black.
Yeah, but around the sun, that means it's always light.
Yeah.
If you sat on top, if you just sat out in space and weren't in orbit of anything but the sun, you'd be in perpetual light. You'd never have night. You know what I mean? The only reason we have night is because the Earth spins itself.
But we only have day and night in. I don't think there's such thing as day and night in space. There isn't. Not. The sun is always there, but it's just
because the planets are what would you call it, rotating as they're orbiting at the same time. Yeah, so then there's always a dark side of the Earth, and the Earth's rotating into that dark side of the sun. You know what I mean? Which is behind. Fuck, I don't know.
Fucking mind-blowing. But it's fucking interesting, just to know that. Just imagine you going to space.
Well, that's another thing, because I've been watching a lot of space, space facts about how different it is actually to be out in space, kind of stuff like that, where it's like, the day-night cycle is different. Like all these different, if someone was born in space, all the different, there's no gravity up there. You don't even have 1G. So if a baby was like conceived in space and then given birth, there'd be all these problems because, it's evolutionary kind of growth is trying to grow these certain things, but it doesn't have gravity to kind of kick that along, I guess. Like an example would be there's this liquid in your ears that helps with equilibrium. So knowing which way is down, which way is up, and gravity is pulling that liquid down, so it sits where it's supposed to sit.
That helps you balance.
Evolution's figured that out. All right, well, we got this 1G pull, we've got to put it here. In space, you don't have a 1G pull, so everything pulls up. Your face gets, astronauts in space, their face gets really big, like they've been drinking a lot, because all the water goes to their face. There's no gravity, there's no 1G pulling liquids down, you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
So everything just sits. There was a video I watched of a dude, he was demonstrating how tears don't fall in space, and the dude's crying and it's just pooling like this. It's just like this huge fat thing just sitting on his cheek. It doesn't fall, doesn't go anywhere, it just stays right there on his cheek.
That's fun.
And I was like, fuck. So when they get all this like, pressure behind their eyes because the liquid's like pushing against their eyes, you can get like vision problems and stuff. So there's a lot of fucked up stuff in space.
You can't even cry in space.
That's what I mean. If you fucking start tearing up, you'd probably fucking drown your eyes in tears because it doesn't go anywhere. It just pools up and doesn't come off your face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just have to like fucking...
It's fine. You'd have to like pull it away off your face or something.
And then throw it at someone.
Literally. No, that'd be pretty fun. Yeah. Like getting a bit of fucking beer, pouring it out, just in a big blob. You're chasing little drops of the beer around the cabin. It'd be crazy, but
I'm sure they've done that already.
Yeah. Well, and also like muscle atrophy because you don't have that resistance of the 1G.
Yeah, exactly. You're not using any of your muscles. You're not using your leg muscles. You're not using your arms because nothing has weight. You can just lift up.
So you can you can atrophy like crazy up there in space, but they take equipment up there. There's certain like space equipment they can take up there and use.
Well, they have like
altered gym equipment.
Yeah.
That they strap to the
strap
cabin.
themselves in.
Yeah.
So it's like they're sort of in their place, and they do like they've got their elliptical machines and
Yeah, that'd be crazy because if you try and do a bicep curl in space,
you can't. There's no way. Get the 90 kilos.
You need a resistance band, wouldn't you? Like something pulling the weight down, simulating 1G. How cool would that be? And then, you gotta counteract that simulated 1G. I wonder when we're gonna be able to simulate gravity, like have a space station that simulates its own gravity. You know what I mean? Like it somehow has like 2 rings and they're like spinning in different ways or something, and if that creates like a vortex of gravity. I don't know how that would work.
There's so much about gravity we don't understand.
Well, we actually don't know much about gravity. We just know it exists.
Fuck all about gravity. But like it's crazy just sort of even just watching it. You know, the astronauts coming back down. Just to think that, you know, the Earth is just sort of just there. And then if you get close enough, so like you could be just off the atmosphere where you're just floating, but if you just get close enough, the Earth's just like
the fuck in.
just literally sucks you in, and like sucks you in so strong it pretty much destroys everything. You know, everything. It's like a defense mechanism in a way. But yeah, we build shit around that so then it doesn't get destroyed. So then these guys can come back safely. But just to think that there's that invisible barrier, when you cross that, as soon as you cross that, just get over here.
Yeah, literally. Fucking do you know if you stay at like terminal velocity, because when you're falling, your body, depending on your weight, can reach a maximum velocity, and then beyond that you can't actually fall any faster.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same.
Does the atmosphere suck it in faster though, and you're going more than your terminal velocity, or is it just always terminal velocity no matter what? Who knows, actually?
I have no idea.
Yeah, we don't know, do we?
I have no idea.
We don't fucking know, do we?
That's a bit too jargon for me.
No, it is pretty cool. I mean, because, yeah, I've watched some more stuff about what Earth would look like when you're outside Earth. And it's like, you would never, no matter how... I mean, you'd have to orbit so fucking far out from the planet to actually see the roundness of the planet.
For sure.
Because it's like... You're only going to be able to see this if you're on the YouTube version, but like if that's the Earth, this little round, you're orbiting not like out here, you're orbiting like here. So when you actually look down at the Earth, it would span from one of your horizons to the other of your horizons.
Yeah,
you see the curve, but it's like you see, you know, about that much of the Earth, and the Earth's like this wide, and you'd see kind of like that as you're going around it. So you'd have to orbit.
You'd have to go way out to actually get that sort of perspective that you're saying, you know, where you can sort of see it as
yeah, like the moon, like the moon's orbit. You can, I'm pretty sure, see.
Oh yeah,
the moon's orbit is like, so. There's the space station right about there, and then the moon's orbit's like out here. It's something ridiculous. I was like, holy shit! So from the moon you can see most of the Earth, like the whole. You can see the round Earth, but even being an astronaut out there in space, you see. I don't know, you can't actually see one end and the other. You just see the big curve, which would be still fucking crazy to see.
It'd be mind-blowing.
You're looking down at your planet that you've been on forever.
Everything you've ever known is there.
It's just there. And you look all around.
Everything
you're like,
that ever
floating.
Existed, that you know of, sort of lived there.
I've just left.
Yeah.
I'm separate from now. Isn't that crazy? And another crazy space fact is that actually... all the sun is hurtling through space. You know what I mean? And the planets are then hurtling through space after the sun. So they're creating this spiral effect as the sun goes. All the planets are spiraling around the sun, going like they're still moving. So nothing's stationary.
Nothing is stationary.
It's not like the sun's just sitting in space.
No,
it's flying through space. You know what I mean? We can't really understand because space isn't like a physical thing for us. It's like literally the word space is in. Space, right? Like his space, the air. Like I'm touching it right now, but it's not real.
I was reading an article yesterday, and it was saying that the space actually expands faster than the speed of light. So that's why we'll never know if there's like our universe, if there are other universes outside of that.
It would take infinite time, literally the number infinity, to reach us.
Yeah, it will never reach us because it moves faster than it gets to us.
That blew my mind. There is light traveling towards us that no matter how long we're here, for the next quintillion years, we will never see it. You can't
even comprehend.
It's like, what the fuck? There's another little crazy space fact I saw. I think it's the Andromeda Galaxy, I'm not sure, but this big galaxy, I think it is the Andromeda Galaxy, is on a collision course with our galaxy. It's moving at 300 kilometers per second, and it's going to take 2.5 billion years to get here. Fuck. Isn't that the most insane shit you ever heard?
Fuck me.
A bullet travels like, what, 100 meters per second? I don't know, 200 meters per second? Something crazy, right?
This is 300 kilometers.
300 kilometers per second.
And it takes fucking...
And it's going to take 2.5 billion years to collide with our galaxy.
Fuck me. That's insane.
So whether we're here or not, in 2.5 billion years, our galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy are going to collide and make, like, I don't know, a fucking super galaxy.
But if we're around that for that long, do you think I doubt it as well, but
they said things like the water will have dried up by then. Things like natural things that we're not even in control of, even though we're kicking it along, will happen. You know?
Okay, but let's say you know, the next big thing happens 1,000 years from now. Do you think we will have sort of, you know, the technology will be developed enough to tackle these sort of situations? Do you think?
What do you mean? A galaxy coming at us?
No.
Send it away.
I don't know. Maybe by then, like with what we can do now, imagine 1,000 years.
A galaxy isn't a thing, bro. Like
No.
is a...
No. I'm just.
Are you saying like the Earth drying up?
No, yeah. Just like, let's say, you know, the sun, something happens to the sun or something, right? There's like a solar explosion or something.
We die.
Not a full explosion, but just like a solar sort of, an episode where, you know, there's like a small burst of fucking energy, right?
We'd still die.
Do you think we'd have, by then, would sort of develop some sort of a protective... Because who knows if the ozone layer is going to be there by then?
If we...
Would we have put something by then to protect us from...
The sun is the most unbelievable ball of energy. Like, we can't match the power of the sun to any capacity, like with energy, in terms of like energy output. The sun is beyond anything we could ever do. So I don't think we could ever develop anything like a blast shield that could fucking protect us from a solar blast from the sun.
I'm just fucking going off right now.
We're speculating.
You know, if you go back 100 years ago and you said to someone, hey, look, I can literally send someone an email and they can print it out and they'd be like, what the fuck? That's horseshit.
But there's some things I don't think you can actually do. Unless you created a sun of your own, you can't do anything.
You know, there's scientists trying to make the fucking Big Bang happen right now. You know that, right?
Why?
Because scientists...
They want to kill us?
They're literally...
That'll kill us.
Well... Maybe that's what Joe... Oh,
wait a minute,
isn't that... Joe Rogan a lot, but that's what he says. He goes, imagine if every fucking billion years we get a bunch of scientists come together in a room and they do this Big Bang, and
so
literally it's like a reset button. Yeah. And like it's just the same shit over and over again.
Well, yeah, aren't they trying to do something like that? There's like the...
They're trying to create a black hole
collider.
as well.
What do you call it?
That's it. Yeah.
And they're colliding fucking atoms together at like supersonic speed, and they're hitting each other. And
they're literally trying to create Big Bang. That's what they're trying to do.
Why? That'll sink our whole everything. The universe will just get sucked into it.
Or it becomes like an experiment. You know, we create another
miniature multiverse or something. I don't know. Jesus, man. Why?
Do you believe in multiverses, by the way?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously don't know, but it's like, well, what are your thoughts? After watching all this shit on what's out there in space and how much out there that is like so mind-blowingly large, it's like, yeah, of course. There's probably, even in our in our multiverse, our dimension,
our universe,
there's another Earth out there somewhere that is. There's you and me, literally exactly the same. Yeah. It doesn't have to be in a different dimension multiverse. It's literally probably still here, just somewhere we can't find. Everything can happen again. Everything that can't happen has happened, and everything that won't happen, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, everything will happen, has happened, blah, blah, blah.
Can I cut you off for a second there? I think you have an idea what I'm going to ask you. Speaking of everything that has happened and will happen and blah, 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 blah. So this fucker called me up the other day at night and just mind fucked me. What was that? What was the website of the Book of Babel or History of Babel?
I'm curious to know if...
Please tell everyone, because this is...
Yeah, I'm curious to know how many people actually know about this, because apparently a lot of people do. It's called the Library of Babel. And if I explain it right, which is going to take me a little bit to actually explain it, but...
Yeah, and it's not the easiest thing to understand.
It's not easy to understand or explain, so here we go. It's basically... it's an algorithm that figures out every combination or every possible outcome of the 23 letters of the alphabet, A to Z, plus the comma, the space, and the full stop.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not random. It's an algorithm that sorts through from A to Z plus those you know, the space, the full stop, the comma, to come up with every outcome that can be arranged with those letters and
any possible word,
anything. So
anything, yeah.
So in this library, there's hexagon shaped
rooms or shelves.
Shelves, right? And then you click in the room, and then there's 4 shelves. There's the hexagon and it's got 4 shelves on the hexagon room. You click on one of the 4 shelves. On the shelf, I think there's like how many
shit ton of books.
How many rows of shelves are on the big shelf?
Yeah.
It's something, and then there's like 34 books on each bookshelf, and then you click on the book, and it's got fucking how many pages? God damn it, something like hundreds of pages or something, and half of the stuff is just gibberish. So if you go to this website and you go to the browse section, you just click on some random shelf and see some random thing. It's just gibberish. It's like a whole bunch of letters just scrambled together and making no sense. You're like, what the fuck? The crazy thing, the mind-blowing thing about this library is that because this algorithm sorts through every possibility that the English language, is made up of the 23 letters, A to Z. So this algorithm sorts through all that. It therefore can
randomly generate.
Not randomly. It's not random. We got to make sure. We got to make sure that's. We got to make sure that that's
systematically.
Systematically sort through from A to Z every possible outcome that those letters can make up. So it literally comes up with, and you can check this out yourself. You might not believe me, but it is true. I've looked at it. It's not some hoax. It's literally just a library some dude created in 1993. He just thought it was a cool little thing. It's an algorithm. It's maths.
Yeah, it's an AI sort of system.
It's mathematics. It's not like some woo-woo shit. It's just basic maths. It's a lot more simple when you actually look at it yourself. But it comes up with every outcome of those letters and those things. So on that library somewhere, there is a bookshelf with a book with a page that has this entire conversation you and I are having because there is a limit to the English language. As in, from A to Z, there's only so many words that can have... It's not like an infinite thing. You know what I mean? So therefore, that's why this algorithm can work.
And if new words were to ever pop up, it's on there already.
Yes, because between A to Z, there's your limit. If it was A to infinity, then, you can't do this. But because it's A to Z and Z is the end, A is the start, you therefore have a limit.
Yeah, everything in between.
So, we're going to get back to this because I don't think I've actually explained it right.
Like...
You can search up any combination of words you want. Type it into the search bar and it'll show you where this thing is. It doesn't generate...
Where it is in the library.
It doesn't generate this word for you. So if I type in... I don't know, like if I type in some crazy shit like Teal dies in 2090 on this date, blah, 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 and it has to be all letters. You can't type in numbers. It's there.
Yeah, it'd be in one of the books.
It's all there.
In one of the random shelves. And if you go back to, go on browse and then click on that random shelf and random book, it's actually written there. So it's not like it gets generated after you type it down.
So there's some crazy statistic, and I'm not sure how exactly it works. I'm not a mathematician or a scientist, as we all know.
That's why we named the podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for explaining that. And there are 10 to the 80th power, and I'm not exactly sure what that means. I don't know if that's like 80 zeros or something, but maybe people who know mathematics will understand.
Cube almost, right?
10 to the 80th power of atoms or molecules in our universe.
Building blocks, pretty much.
Building blocks, basically. So 10 to the 80th power. That is beyond your comprehension. You can't even imagine how many things there are. Think about grains of sand on the planet. There's more atoms than there's more.
If you were to combine.
There's more than more atoms and building blocks and molecules than there are grains of sand on our planet. This library has managed to
outdo that.
Outdo it 10th to the 5,000th power. It's some crazy number like 10 to 4,977th power. That I don't know maths, but that is like.
It's a pretty big number.
Like 50, 100 times the atoms. Like, it's something you cannot even believe, and that's why people just don't understand how to use this. And it's not like you use the library. The guy who created it, he says, look, this is just something I wanted to do because of this author he really liked, and the author wrote a book that was kind of like this, if there was a place you could go where everything was. So he took that concept and he did it himself because he was a mathematician and a literature master or something. You know, he was a teacher in literature or something, so he knew how to do all this stuff. And then he wants people to use it as kind of like inspiration or as a creative tool, because anything you can think of that you can say, every book that has ever been written, every book that ever will be written, everything that ever has been said, everything that ever will be said is already in this library. Yeah. It is not a future predicting tool, because it is a mathematic algorithm. It's not like a futuristic predictor or something. No. It's just already there. This algorithm is sorted through the language. It is pure just maths. That's it. It's not like, oh wow, it's all already there. But somewhere on that library, there is a set of sentences or letters all together that describes your death and my death perfectly. We just don't know.
Yeah, it's written in one of those books.
In one of those pages, there is literally a perfect description of how I'm going to die. It already has when I was born. It already has where I was born. It's like, it's mind-blowing to think, and I know it's like, you know...
You got to look into it.
Yeah, you got to look into it, because you might just think we're absolutely crazy right now, but it is the most insane thing to me for some reason, maybe because I don't understand it fully. That's why it's so insane to me. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, maybe it's not so insane. I'm just blown away by it.
I don't know. First, I think it is fascinating in a way that someone could come up with a formula to generate this amount of possible sort of outcomes. I mean, like how you were explaining it to me the other day, it's pretty much like the system starts with A, and then it's like A, B, A, C, A, D, yes. A, and then it will go to
sorts through. Like so let's say,
B, C, yeah. B, D, and then it goes through that so many times where it starts to sort of
to make it as simple as I can. It's like, let's just go with 3-letter words. A. Right, there's your 3 letters. Then it will sort AAB, AAC. It'll go A all the way, AAZ, and then it will go ABZ, ACZ, and then suddenly you'll have AZZ, and then you'll have BZZ, and it will just fly through, right? It's just it sorts through as many as it can. I don't know, it's something insane. And then also, not to mention, you have the space, the comma, and the full stop all in that, so it can create an insane amount of outcomes, and it's all already there. So it's like, when you type it in, it doesn't randomly generate this thing for you. It's like, you type the thing in, and it goes, okay, this is where it is.
It just finds it in the library.
It just shows you where it is.
Yeah. It's like, it's in this book, this page, here it is, there you go.
Yeah, I typed in I'm Not a Scientist podcast with Teal and Cunt, and there it is on page fucking 6 billion trillion fucking, it's already there. And I'm just like, I don't know why it blows my mind so much, man. It's crazy shit.
But that also, it also shows you how capable, AI systems are. Like, if you write a complex enough formula, like what it can do, and then you give this thing a brain.
Well, that's scary.
You know,
that's
imagine creating an AI with this sort of complexity where it will know anything.
I bet it's already out there.
Oh, I think so too.
I think they use it for different things, but it's like, that's the crazy thing about AI is, like, we use that to kind of what would you say, compensate for our lack of being able to do that with our own brain. Like, our brain can't do something like that. It literally can't. Or if it could, it would take that person so many years to sit down and do that.
You won't have enough time in the world.
Whereas an algorithm can sort that shit through, an AI system can sort that shit through in...
But in a way, it is us doing that, because we're creating the AI. But we are smart enough to...
There's points in the AI that can skip it for us. So us doing that, it's like... Sure. We're using the AI because we can't do it ourselves.
Well, it's like we can build a computer that can do millions of different tasks at any given time. You can't do that, but we can build something that can do that.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's crazy when you think about that, actually, because I mean, that just shows that eventually AI will become so advanced that...
Yeah, because we won't be able to keep up. Like, it's going to be so much smarter.
What happens when the AI... This already happens, though, but I'm just we're speculating on it all. It's like, what happens when the AI is able to create the bigger and better AI, and then suddenly it's beyond what we can do. Like,
And the AI
we haven't got control
creating,
anymore.
yeah.
It's easy. That's it. Have you ever read or The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Do you know about that?
No.
Oh, bro.
I feel like I've heard of
You've
that.
definitely heard of it. It's hilarious. The book's so good. It's the funniest thing you'll ever read.
Oh, really?
And it's all about like space travel and Earth is about to get destroyed because this galactic company wants to build a hyperspace route through Earth. So this construction company comes through and destroys Earth because they want to build a hyperspace route through it. And it's like, dear humans, we are destroying the planet to create a hyperspace route, and all the humans are like, what the fuck? And the dude, the main guy, he's like at a pub. He walks outside. He's like, what the fuck? And on the planet Earth, these guys are trying to bulldoze his home because they want to build like a highway through his house. Is it a movie or a book? It's a movie now, but do not watch the movie.
Okay, so read the book first. Okay, fair enough.
And it's brilliant.
Books are always
most of the time. So it's called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and basically him and this alien that helps him out, they hitchhike a ride with a local spaceship.
Oh, really?
Like a merchant ship or something, right? And then it's just like, it's the book, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, is about this guy writing... So the alien that helps this guy, he's writing the book, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So it's like literally the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. This is how you get around these planets. This is how you do this. It's like a Hitchhiker's Guide. And it's so fucking funny. But what was I saying? Why did I bring that up? Oh, yeah, because... they skip to this planet or something, and this planet's trying to discover the meaning of life. They're like, what is the answer, the secret to life, or the answer, or the meaning to life? And they build this supercomputer called like Deep Thought or something. And Deep Thought spends like 10,000 years processing this question, right? And then these like great generations of people are like, it's the day, finally, we're going to find out what the meaning of life is. And they all gathered around, and Deep Thought's like processing. He's like, because he said how long it's going to take, and they're all here, and it's taken 10,000 years. And they're like, what is it? And he's like, 42. And they're all like, what?
42.
He's like, 42. And they're like, what do you mean? What does 42 mean? And he's like, for that, I'll need to build another computer. So this supercomputer builds a super duper computer.
What the fuck?
And I didn't get that far in it, but it's like, it's the funniest shit. It's like, yeah, AI is just going to eventually keep building more and more and more. Do you think we could ever do that? Because that's what made me laugh so much. Because this guy, Douglas Adams, who writes the book, he's the funniest dude ever. He's just like... He figured out how to write the perfect book. You got to read it, man.
Yeah,
I think I've got it here. No, I don't.
I haven't.
Maybe. Do I? Fuck. I might. If I do, I'll give it to you. It's huge. Cool. It's like 4 parts.
Oh, really?
It's hilarious. It's like, I think like the 4th one's called like, See Ya and Thanks for All the Fish, and it's about the dolphins leaving the planet, and they just swim off into space.
What the fuck?
Yeah. They're like aliens, and they're like see you later and thanks for all the fish. They just bugger off the dolphins for like aliens or something. It's the funniest shit, man. He finds all these like just ridiculous things, and all the alien names are like Rick and Morty style names, like Glip Glorp and shit like that, like just silly stuff. And it's so funny. It's like the original Rick and Morty, really, almost.
Bro, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Simpsons predicted that dolphins are pretty clever.
Simpsons do.
Simpsons predict everything.
Didn't the Simpsons predict Trump was going to be president?
Yeah, dude. Trump, 9/11, fucking coronavirus,
Jesus.
like fucking.
They went for it.
Yeah.
Well, true. Simpsons and South Park were like.
Especially Simpsons, man. Those fuckers. I mean, they made Futurama
friendly
as well.
Though, eh? Like they were a bit more friendly because they managed to do it without being like vulgar like South Park.
Oh yeah.
Like they were definitely more PG in a way. But
I mean, it was more the dirty sort of adult jokes were a bit more hidden. Because like a kid can still watch Simpsons and enjoy it and have a good time. But yeah, at the same time, an adult can watch it and pick up on these sort of...
Dude, there's so many Disney movies I've watched and been like, oh, shit.
Even SpongeBob, man. Even SpongeBob, there's an episode where he gets caught watching porn, pretty much, but he's just looking at fucking, I don't know, sea creatures, and Gary just walks in and he's like freaking out. Gary, don't look.
Yeah, because when you're a kid, you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, exactly. You don't know what's happening. You're like, oh, this is funny.
That's hilarious. I love that shit.
And then when you get older, you're like,
you can get away with a lot of stuff.
That's what's happening here.
Well, that's how you get all the parents involved.
Watching a bunch of porn.
Your kid's like, yeah, let's watch SpongeBob. You're like, yeah, let's watch SpongeBob. That'll be sick, man. That'd be dope. But yeah, that's what The Simpsons was. Futurama. They're not still going, are they? Futurama.
Yeah, I think so.
Is The Simpsons?
Yeah, Simpsons is still going.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of space, did you hear about the new sort of launch of that drone to Mars?
That little helicopter
that was 2 days ago.
drone?
Yeah.
Oh, that was 2 days ago, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, because I was looking at that, I think, a week or two ago.
I think it lands in like 8 months or something.
So how are they sending it? Are they sending it the same way?
Yeah, pretty much.
In like a little pod or something? And then
Yeah, but it wasn't, the spacecraft wasn't as big in this one.
No, because it's not a huge drone. It's probably like the size of the room.
Yeah, and this was actually sent by NASA rather than SpaceX. I mean, I think they still sort of collaborated with SpaceX, as far as I know. Like, they share the technology and shit, and they sort of work together now.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how far, like, in the last year or so, the amount of shit we've been doing with space. I feel like there's something happening all the time now. You know, we're sending shit to Mars.
Was it because we're paying more attention?
No, I just think it's come a long way. Like, with SpaceX being able to land their fucking you know, their you know how when they send a fucking shit to space and then it sort of breaks apart, those rockets, the boosters, they sort of land back, because before that would just fucking get destroyed, and that was like millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Now
they can recover, and that just opens up a lot more sort of, you know, they have more money, they can do more missions, because they don't have to build boosters every time they want to do an operation. And because they've got it sort of they've sort of done it in a way where they know what they're doing now. It's sort of it's almost like they got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, every launch you're doing, like, everything's always running as smooth as possible.
Yeah, they've got a system for sure now.
They're
sending
sort of
something into space every freaking few weeks.
Exactly. Like... And then they're sending people and bringing it back without any headaches as well. So it's like they got to figure it out now.
That's
so
the thing.
It's only a matter of time where we do more shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Because we can.
Yeah, they're slowly perfecting space travel to the point where it will become commercial.
Yeah,
you want to visit the space station, and they'll build like a commercial part of the space station where people can go and fucking visit. You want to take the family to space? You want to take the family to the space station?
Man, sign me up.
I mean, that'll totally be a thing. Theme park, space station, dude. Of course they're gonna do that. Oh, who wants to? You know, I don't know. They'll come up with like activities you can only do in 0G. Like, I don't know, all sorts of crazy shit. That'll be insane.
Anything, man. You can do anything. I don't know. You don't even have to do anything. Just being there, just experiencing that, I think would be once in a lifetime experience.
Another thing on the space station, because they're floating around without helmets on and shit, do they have artificial oxygen, or do they just have oxygen tanks pumping oxygen into the place like permanently? They must, right?
Well, I'm sure the spacecraft would have a built-in sort of system where it sort of maybe it either
self-oxygenates the whole place.
Generates sort of in a way. I have no fucking idea. Like, I don't know the.
Well, imagine if they have oxygen tanks that just plugs into the space station. Like, they have to be resupplied every now and then by people. Imagine if they ran out.
Yeah, that'd be scary.
You know what I mean? Because I doubt there's going to be like oxygen generators. I don't know. How do you do that? If you could do that, why don't we just stick 100 of those on Mars and just see what happens? You know what I mean? I bet their oxygen tanks just plugged into air vents and stuff. Because as soon as we figure out how to generate oxygen quick, like pump out large amounts of oxygen, we're gonna put them on Mars, and it'll, over however many years, maybe a very sped up, you know, time frame where it would take thousands of years, we can speed it up to maybe 50 years, where we oxygenate the planet and the atmosphere. We give it an atmosphere. We give it an ozone layer. However, I don't know how the evolution, like the biology of, you know, an ecosystem, oxygen, ozone, all that stuff works, but I reckon, you know,
I don't know if that
100%.
Would that be something we can do?
100%.
I feel like there's so many systems that sort of needs to work together for us to be able to achieve that. It might be beyond our
to generate oxygen.
No, not just to generate, but it's not like, you know, the way the sort of the world operates. Everything is sort of connected. You know what I mean? Like bees, they have their mission. They, you know,
right. So you think if we
then they do that, and the plants do this, and then like everything is in a fucking.
So you think
cycle.
if you put oxygen out there by itself without all its other moving parts, shit won't work.
Yeah, I feel like it will. I don't know. I feel like it will just fall apart somewhere.
Well, that's true. Maybe. It's like, yeah, if you want stuff to grow around a planet, you do need the bees moving the pollen. You need
plants.
Plants to photosynthesize from the sun and then pump out oxygen.
But then again, for that to happen, you first need an atmosphere, right? So
you can't grow an atmosphere without an atmosphere. So it's like, how are they going to start that process off? I guarantee there's people working on that.
Who
if
knows?
there's people trying to make black holes and super collide atoms, there's people out there trying to make oxygen. We'll build an AI
that will sort of fart oxygen bubbles or something.
It'll eat dead bodies and fart out fucking carbon dioxide oxygen.
You want oxygen?
Jesus Christ. No, man, it's coming. I mean, there's definitely the new... We're living in the future, I think. I mean, we don't have flying cars and fucking hover skateboards yet, but we're definitely living in the future.
Yeah.
Coronavirus has just given us a bit of a hit of like, well, you know, no matter how advanced you guys are,
we can fuck you up.
Mother Nature's like, I still got better. Or China.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what technology you have.
China's against it. We want to go back to the Stone Age. Take this. Take the coronavirus. No, look, we're being silly. We don't believe that. We're not like Donald Trump. We don't think China's trying to fucking... What did he call it? He called it the kung.
The kung
That was so bad, bro. I was like, oh my god. It's actually...
He's like, what? It's from China. It's from China.
That's a pretty good impression.
That's how he talks.
Oh my god. I think I watched something yesterday on King of This Thing, and they were doing a video. They were showing a video of him being interviewed by some guy, and he was talking about his Twitter. And the guy was like, do you ever... You know, I mean, like, because you're the president, but still, like, do you ever, like, you know, send something out and regret it later? And he goes, too much. Way too much. I always regret it. And he's like...
Yeah, because he'd tweet at, like, fucking 2 a.m. about Kanye West or something.
He's like, you know what really gets me in trouble the most? Retweets.
Yeah.
It's not usually the tweets that get me in trouble. It's usually the retweets. Yeah. And he's like... He goes on like a 5-minute rant about, it seems good in the moment... But then I seem to always get in trouble. He's like, I just hit retweet.
That's it. Once it's out there, it's out there.
He's like, but I regret it all the time.
You know his Twitch channel got banned and shit?
He has a Twitch channel?
Yeah.
What does he do on Twitch?
Oh, just fucking propaganda, I guess. Just, you know, talking about his policies and shit. I know Joe Biden had a Twitch page as well.
God,
and sort of
all these old guys trying to do fucking new shit.
Man, everyone's so... It's
pretty full on though, because like I was listening to Joe Coy on Joe Rogan yesterday, and Joe Coy is an Asian guy, and he's talking about how he says from when Donald Trump called it the Kung Flu and was saying it's like a Chinese virus, racism towards Asian cultures and people ramped up heaps.
For sure.
Like, people were suddenly like, oh, we're allowed to let out our racist hatred towards people. So, you know, I mean, it's funny to laugh at sometimes, like, oh, Donald Trump's saying some stupid shit again, but it's like,
yeah, we don't really
even if he's not necessarily like thinking about that or whatever, he's like, it does instill a lot of kind of like hate and anger.
Yeah, for sure.
Because a lot of America is like that, I guess, from what I keep hearing. It's like there's a whole bunch of people who just fucking, you know, go back to your country type shit. It's like, what?
Yeah, that shit. I mean, that happened here as well. I remember when the virus first started, there was a lady on the Melbourne train. Someone recorded her, and she was just going off at these, you know, people that were Asian, sort of like just yelling, oh, you guys got the virus here, and blah, 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 just being super racist. So I feel like it's sort of, it doesn't just affect the people in America, it's just the energy and the vibe you send out there.
It's allowing uneducated, silly people to let out their confused anger at, oh, we've got a target finally. It's like, because if you're a person that yells at someone like that, go back to where you came from, this is your fault that we're all sick, it's like, bro, you're a fucking idiot, alright? Fuck you.
But when people like Trump go out and say shit like that,
that's dangerous.
It only encourages people. It gives them more sort of...
Because a lot of people would look at that and go, oh, the president of the free world.
If he's saying that, what can I fucking say? Yeah. So people grow balls and
yeah, and I doubt Trump actually thinks about that stuff. Like, well, if he does, that's pretty fun.
Trust me, he does, man. He does, man. He's not dumb. Like, he is, but he's not. He's not dumb. Like, he's a fucking...
No.
He's a smart man.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
In his way, yeah.
He knows exactly what he's doing. And he's just another way to divide people and separate, and you versus, you know, them versus us.
What does he want? Competition? I don't understand what he's looking for. Like...
But that's what it is, man. Like,
does it just cause chaos and a stink and see what happens? Like...
But that's what every fucking... like, you need something. You need something
to attack, basically.
Yeah, because if everything is good, then why do we need you? You know.
Yeah, it's like the fucking here in Australia, it's like the Greens, it's their fault the virus is here, and then all the guys are like, yeah, fuck them, we're gonna vote for these people. It's like you just find someone to attack so that you can push your agenda.
Exactly.
We're gonna do this for you if you vote for us. They vote for you. Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you need something so you can say to your people, I'm going to protect you from those bad people. Oh, yes, please, I'll vote for you. Protect us, you know what I mean?
I'm going to bring us all together and we're going to be a one. You fucking commie, you fucking bitch. What are you, some socialist? In America, they're like, you're a socialist. I don't know what they even say over there, but it's like, yeah, we all need to be one and connect and we all need to help each other out. Fuck, what are you, some kind of queer? It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's totally not cool at all to be, you know, if someone gets up there and says any of that, they don't get far. Yeah, we need to push the agenda of mining companies and you know, like, yeah, guns, fucking all that good shit, all the stuff that makes us the most money and makes American economy what am I saying?
Make America
economy
great. Yeah.
Economy so strong. This is how we're gonna make it strong. It's through all these companies are gonna give us trillions of dollars. You know. What do you guys want? Fucking hippie weed? Whatever. I don't know.
Well, I mean, even George Bush was like, oh, yeah, Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. We're going to go and invade Iraq. They've been there for fucking 20 years now.
You found those?
And they admit it. They go, oh, the intel we had was wrong. They have no weapons of mass destruction. Then why the fuck are you still there?
Well, it was for the oil.
Exactly.
They went over there for the oil and used it as a decoy.
That was just an excuse.
Yeah, these guys are threatening our way of life, so we have to go over there. We'll just sneak a bit of oil on the side, but we're really here to defend the American country. It's like, bro, there's somewhere else. It's got nothing to do with you.
Coronavirus really kicked off, you know. Is there an agenda behind it? Is there something behind
conspiracy.
it?
Let's get into it, mate. Let's get into some conspiracy theory.
Who the fuck knows, though?
I love conspiracy theory.
Who the fuck knows? I don't know, man.
You don't know?
There's so much. I mean, it could be anything. You know, we can sit down and, you know, have a guess and speculate and whatever. But
no, well, let's go dirty. Let's get into it.
You'll never know, man.
So what do you think? What do you think benefits the most from the virus getting out and weakening economies and
well, it's just a way to sort of, one, to scare the public, two, to, you know, they can do whatever the fuck they want. I mean, I told you before, now Melbourne has curfews and whatnot. You know, you can't be outside of your home after 8 p.m., between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. I don't know, I just think it's like a way to sort of scare people without us being able to see who the enemy is. Well,
that's what you said last time, was like, that's what's scary, is that you can't see
you can't
actually see what's going on.
Because for years, media was always pushing, terrorists, Arab-looking people. Oh, they're gonna blow up your family. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that.
Suddenly you got somewhere to point your anger.
And then fear. You know, everyone was, you know, there was a lot of racist shit. You know, when it came to those people.
Yeah.
But now they're like, okay, because like after what happened in Christchurch, people were like sort of uniting. Like, they're like, hey, like, we're over this. You guys, we've been pushing this agenda for so long now. For the last 20 years. We're over it. We're together. You'd have soldiers coming back from their missions in Afghanistan and Iraq and literally say, hey, these people are exactly the same as us. They're, you know, they have families. They just want to live. They just want a peaceful life. So I think slowly, especially our generation, with, you know, when you have so much information readily available, where you can just go on your phone, literally, a black guy gets killed by a cop. That shit is streamed to millions of people. Like, millions of people see that straight away. So I feel like it got to a point where it's a lot harder for them to these sort of things, because everyone just has access to information. Everyone has a camera. You know what I mean? It's a lot harder to pull off certain things, whereas with this, they can do whatever the fuck they want, because you can't even see it. So it's just the way, maybe, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm just talking out of my ass.
No, I'm hearing all you're saying. It makes sense to me. Yeah, it's like juicing up an invisible monster, kind of. It's like, you don't know if it's going to get you, so behave. Stay indoors. Don't do this. Don't go out and whatever, you know? It's like... Because, yeah, I mean...
And it just shows you the government controls you.
Even if it's not purposeful, it is a brilliant opportunity for, you know, governments or whoever does that kind of shit to control the people, keep them kind of... chilled out in line, whatever. It's like, well, you know, and it's also like, you know, yeah, the fear is real. Every time anyone has a cough, they're like, fuck, I'm sick. Paranoid, I'm fucking sick. Yeah. So anyway, I love it when I see someone cough and I see the 5 people stand around them.
Yeah, everyone's
looking around. They're like, fuck. You know what I mean? I'm like,
but, like, it's, yeah.
Everyone's afraid, man. Everyone's afraid. And it just breeds anxiety everywhere, and then everyone's on edge. Everyone doesn't know, you know, people who have already lost their job, it sucks. People who haven't lost a job already, they're all on edge anyway, because suddenly there's a second wave of this shit, you know? But
this so-called freedom that we have is really controlled by the government, because the government can literally say, well, you know what, you can't leave the border. Well, you know what, you can't come in.
Well, they are making good decisions, though.
No, like, I'm not saying I disagree with them. Right. Like, I think what they're doing, they sort of have to. Yes. Right, but what I'm saying is this virus, in a way, sort of shows us this sort of, like, governments sort of put these things in place where, you know, they make you believe, you know, you're free, you can do whatever you want, blah blah blah. But really, you know, shit like this happens, and you realize, hey, no, not really. They control everything. Because they can just be like, hey, you can't leave your house after 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And you can be like, you know what, fuck you. Well, if you leave, you cop $1,000 fine.
Yeah, you choose. Well, that's what's happening in America, isn't it? Fuck you, I'm going out, I'm not wearing a mask.
Right?
Yeah, dude, like, they've got the people to believe they're so free that they can't be controlled almost. It's gone the opposite way. That's why they've got the highest infection rate, because they fucking...
The rest of the world is a bit more used to being a bit abused by their government, I guess. So, like, yeah, this is nothing new.
America's like, what?
America's like, USA.
God, I'm glad I'm not over there, bro. That'd be this is probably the scariest time to be in America. Actually, I don't know. It depends who you are, but it's definitely a tough time to be in there. Fuck.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, there's so much shit going on right now. There's so much unknown.
Things are just popping up all over the place. You know, it's like, it seems to have worked out a really good like, what would you call it? Panic map. Was the coronavirus before George Floyd?
Yeah.
Yeah. That coronavirus starts, then George Floyd, that kicked things into a big gear. And then everything from there is kind of its own little thing now. You know what I mean? It's like everything's spiking up some shit.
Yeah, all this cancel culture is fucking going crazy. All these, even the gaming industry got hit big time not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, where people coming out saying they were sexually abused, and, you know, people in power took advantage of them. I mean, we know what happened in Hollywood with Weinstein, or whatever the fuck his name is.
That's a whole nother thing that's happening at the moment. What's her name? Fucking...
Oh, you're talking
what's
about...
her name? You know her name.
Jeffrey Epstein and shit?
Yeah, but what's the chick's name?
Oh, Maxwell...
No.
I forgot her name.
You know the one, though. She's, like, out and about right now, and everyone's trying to vie for her favour, so that whoever gets elected pardons her, and then she fucks up whoever is left in the wings, basically.
Wait, you're talking about Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend? Ex-girlfriend?
No, I don't know.
The chick that got arrested?
No, there's a chick right now who's, like, all over the place, and Trump the other day was like, oh, I wish her well, or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's a chick.
What's her name?
Yeah, I will, Maxine something.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell, that's it.
It seems pretty full on, bro, because a lot of people have been killed in this thing. It's scary. It's like actually like some deep dark shit going on.
The judge who was...
His son.
Yeah.
Fucking killed.
Yes. And Jeffrey Epstein died, committed suicide in his cell block. It's crazy. Which is fucking bullshit. So obvious. You got Prince Andrew's fucking connected, but not cooperating with
That's
FBI.
What I mean. That's why they're all trying to be nice to Ghislaine, because whoever doesn't get elected, she's going to rat out and be like, they fuck kids. You know what I mean? It's going to be terrible. Kids. It's going to be like, they went to the island, they did that shit.
Even Trump
Because before that, Trump was all like, yeah, I know what's been going on there, all this bullshit. And he, like, you know, ratted out Prince, whatever his name was, Prince Harry or whatever. And he was talking shit about that whole thing. And now all of a sudden, because Ghislaine could be, you know, saying some shit, he's like, yeah, I wish her well. He's turned full tail.
There's photos of fucking Prince Andrews hugging that chick that came out saying, you know, he fucked me 3 times. There's sort of, he's like hugging her, and then Ghislaine is sort of in the background, and Jeffrey Epstein is the one taking the photo.
Apparently Ghislaine was the one who was like, she was the trafficker. She would, like, you know, get them all and send them to the island. Yeah. Oh god, bro, that's so fucking sick.
And there's allegations that Trump was you know, he slept with a 13-year-old girl in one of these parties. And I would believe that there's photos of Trump.
This is all allegedly.
They're all partying together.
This is all speculation. We don't actually know. We don't want to cause this thing. We don't actually know.
Oh, well, we're
just going off what we've seen.
Yeah, I know. But in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, these guys fucking knew. That's why he was so powerful. They all knew. And they're saying, these investigators are saying, you cannot be friends with Epstein and not know what he was doing. And Prince Andrew, Don, they stayed in pretty much all his houses. Like, because he's got mansions everywhere. He had his own private island.
There's no way you can avoid that. Yeah, he would have had people in his fucking house. He would have had little fucking... Oh, God, bro.
So it just shows you, man, we think we know what's going on. We have no fucking clue what's going on. You know? And you don't know if this thing about the virus is true, if it's bullshit. Like, because the leaders that we look up to... Look at the shit they're running behind our backs, you know? Like the royal family, Prince Andrews, you know, he's from the royal family. These guys literally run the world. And he's out there fucking taking photos with underage girls. And saying it wasn't him because apparently he had a medical condition and he couldn't sweat at the time. That's his excuse.
What?
Yeah, watch the BBC interview. It was about 7 months ago. It goes for like 45 minutes. Have you seen that?
I've seen clips of things of people being totally like just on their interviews. Sit
down and watch that interview, and you tell me if Prince Andrews is actually being legit and honest, or if he's talking a lot of shit.
Dude, none of those people are innocent.
He's like, oh yeah, that's me in the photo. Well, they're like, well, the girl in the photo is saying that you guys had sex 3 times. You know, first time in the hotel, in his house in London. Second time was like in a mansion in LA, and then third time was at an island with like 8 other girls. And he's like, and they're saying apparently the girl described it as, you know, like apparently Prince Andrews was like sweating a lot and whatever. And his excuse was like, is literally, back in the day, he goes, I had a medical condition. He goes, I couldn't sweat.
Then you'll die, bro.
That's from how your body fucking...
Yeah, from studying biology even a tiny bit when I was at TAFE, it's like, if you don't sweat, you literally die.
But you know what he says now? He goes, but now he doesn't have that medical condition anymore. So now he's able to sweat.
Oh, so he's out there really getting into it now. He's out there really giving it to him. Oh, what a sick fuck. No, they all know.
But
even if they didn't participate,
interview.
they all know.
Oh, they all.
And I bet they all fucking did participate.
That's why they were friends with him. Dude.
You can find us an island where there's a whole bunch of young girls.
Jeffrey Epstein were given a $70 million house as a gift. Who does that?
Keep your mouth shut and come join us.
But that's what the thing is. Apparently, what he used to do would then he would take photos or record them while they're with an underage person. So then, if they were to ever rat him out, he had them by the balls. So that's why he was so powerful. He knew pretty much. Well,
that's where Ghislaine's at right now.
Yeah.
That's why the Ghislaine's come that person, and that's why there's all this full-on shit because they're trying to get to her and kill her, whoever these people are. Yeah. And that's why she's like, what is she, under some kind of security? I don't know what she's...
Well, she's locked up. They refused bail for her. She's locked up, but who knows, man?
It's like a movie. They can get you wherever. You know what I mean? It's so insane. They'll get you wherever, and it's like...
they got Jeffrey in jail, in his cell.
They got this guy's son?
Yeah.
But why the fuck are we hearing about this shit? You know what I mean? Why isn't it like secret ninja shit? Like you kill the person and no one hears about it, but now everyone's hearing about it.
Because everyone has information now.
Yeah, it's
before the only way you would get your information.
Kill. Everyone knows now what's going on. But it's not like it's a secret. It's like, well, these guys can just go kill these people. We already know what's going on.
You can't hide it anymore. Before, the only way to get your information was the news, right? 7 o'clock news at night,
and they could spit whatever.
And they can just say whatever, and that's the only thing you can go on. But now, man, people record shit. You know, security guards record the fucking shit inside the cell. Like everyone's got information now. That's why it's a lot harder for them to do shit. like government false flag attacks, whatever, to sort of generate hate.
It's an intense time from everything that's been
UFO,
been hearing about. Dude,
talking about UFOs.
As we've been saying on all our podcasts, something's going down,
man.
bro.
All this year. Fuck me.
Something's going down, bro.
Fuck me. First bushfires, coronavirus, Black Lives Matter.
America was on fire.
Sending
as well
people shit to fucking... Amazon was burning. And Brazil did nothing. They literally let it burn on purpose. They refused help from other countries. Even though they weren't capable of fighting it. They're just like, fuck you, it's our country.
They probably
we don't want your help.
to be found out.
Yeah. And then, like, just the coronavirus, we're sending people to space and, them coming back, and we're sending shit to Mars, and, like, these words, this either
literally is the end of the world, or there is some massive shift about to happen that just changes it's going to be the new world order, something new, right? Where it is like,
something's going to come out. Something's going to come out of this.
COVID doesn't exist anymore, but no one's allowed out after 8 anyway, so we'll just keep that going. It's like, what?
Something's definitely going to come out of this, and I'm so curious to see what it is. Like, in the next 5 years, I feel like we're still going to have, whatever is happening now is still going to be affecting us.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It feels like right now the world is kind of weak, and it would be a perfect time for someone with power, as in a group or a military, whatever, who knows, to come in right now. This would be perfect, because we'd all just be like, I guess. We don't really have the ability to, like, stand up for ourselves at the moment. COVID's really kicked us off our feet, in a way. Everyone's scared. And these people come in and be like, we'll help you out. We got a cure.
Aliens.
Some rubbish.
Aliens.
Fucked it. If it's aliens,
the future.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
You listened to the Post Malone talking about his mates?
Not yet. I only listened to the first half an hour.
He talks about his mates, Ziggy and someone else, the aliens that he plays beer pong with. And he was legit. He's like, they come visit me. He's on shrooms and shit. But he's like, they come visit me and they help me write songs and shit.
But man,
and
have
they
you
go to their
done
concerts
mushrooms before?
No, I've never done mushrooms.
Yeah. Man, when you're on mushrooms, it's...
You see some shit, eh?
Yeah, you do. I was when I done it the first time around, it's like I was in this underground world, different society and shit. And it's like I was visiting them, they were showing me around. And it feels so real.
Do you actually leave your body, or are you still walking around here, but you're just seeing stuff different?
So you can sort of switch on and off.
So it's like your dream, there's like a dream... Like, when you're dreaming, it feels all real and stuff.
Yeah, well, you could just be like...
between that whenever.
Like, I could just be talking to you, right?
But then
like,
in your head, you're...
No, I'd be like, I can close my eyes and I'm like, I'm somewhere else all of a sudden. But then if I want to snap out of it, I'll just open my eyes again and I'm okay again.
Fuck.
Or if you focus, and you can sort of, like, snap in and out at will, if that makes sense.
Well, see, I mean... It's definitely appealing. I'm not ready yet, I know that, just because I'm very sensitive as is.
And plus, you're still young. I wouldn't recommend doing it at a young age.
I do have a very sensitive mind, and, like, got my own fucking mental fucking problems I got to work through. So it's like, I reckon if I did take some stuff, it could potentially push me off course, if you know what I mean. So I'm waiting, but dude, definitely gonna do it one day. Yeah. I love that shit, because I'm so fascinated with, like, just creative, insane things you can't even imagine. And that sounds like what mushrooms does for people. You know what I mean? Mushrooms and acid and shit. Yeah. But
don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, don't do drugs until you're a bit older, because trust me, you're not ready when you're younger. No. Some people like to disagree, and good for those people, but I reckon you definitely wait till you're a bit older and a bit more sorted.
Yeah, once you have your life sort of figured out and you know who you are as a person, as a character. Because I feel like, you can easily sort of let yourself go too deep into that shit.
Nothing is harder when you're, like, unsure and scared as, like, let's say a young teenager or something, and you're just not sure what's going on. You don't know who you are, and you take some shit and it just spins you right out, and suddenly you've got a false idea of things.
Yeah, false sense of reality. Because you can't
comprehend what's going on, and you feel like you've really got it figured out. It's like, I feel like people should wait, till you really got to grasp. Some people, that's a lot earlier, and some people can figure that out way quicker, and it's easy. But for someone like me, not for a little bit. Just because also I've had, like, I haven't done drugs for years, because I had the last thing I did was a really, really bad trip, and I didn't know I got spiked. So that's why it's doubly bad, because I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know. I was just like, I just smoking some weed, bro.
Some bitch wanted to...
Someone want me fucking dead, bro.
Dead or just...
Almost
just
dead, bro.
I
was very close. I was very close to being like, I want to die. Actually was a couple of times. I was like, I'm ready to die.
Were you in a club?
I was here, bro.
What, at home?
I was right here.
Someone spiked you at home?
No, I got some weed off my mate.
Oh.
And I don't think he even knew what was in it. But it was not weed.
Spiked weed.
It was laced. Laced with something, for sure.
Damn.
Because I smoked a lot of weed in my time. Yeah. That was not weed.
Smoked weed.
I smoked it, and it was like 14 to 15 hours of just the most insane trip. And it was exaggerated.
Maybe it was like dipped in acid or
something insane. It was weird though, because I wasn't like I wasn't like hallucinating where I'd see something that was there.
Yeah.
It was like more in my head. Where I could see something but it wasn't actually there. Like, you know, in mushrooms, like you might see something that looks very real. It's like it's there. It wasn't like that for me. Just the fact that I wasn't ready for it. And suddenly you're like there and you're like, what the fuck? And when your ears start cracking and you're like, what the fuck? I haven't had this before. And then suddenly, like I'm getting anxiety just talking about it. So I have this major complex now that I don't take water or food from anybody. Like I actually can't. Yeah. It's a mental thing I have. I can't eat food at any other people's houses. I can't drink water from anybody's house. I can't do anything, right? Every time I make my own meal, I've seen where everything's come from. I still freak out when I'm eating.
Oh, really?
Sometimes I don't eat for days because I'm snacking on shit because I can't. I'm stressing, you know? Damn. It's really full on.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, I got to go talk to someone about it because I'm working through some shit with it, and it's suddenly, like, for a couple of years, it hasn't been a thing, and it's come back now at the moment, so it's like...
It must have been Well, I guess the fact that you weren't really expecting it as well.
And I was 17. It was the day I finished school. It was insane. It was insane shit, bro. It was like,
don't do shit when you're young.
Terrible. No, because I wasn't ready, and it was definitely laced with like, it felt like fucking. I mean, I've never taken anything like speed or anything, but it was like, yeah, my face was like sucked back, and I felt like I was just like flying through a tunnel, and then there were these like, I was just I was like laying on my bed freaking out, and there was like these three like personality jesters sitting at the end of my bed, and one of them was like, "You're fucked. You're so fucked," and the other one was like, "You'll do alright," and then the other one was like, "Hey man, just keep your chin up."
It was literally your thoughts.
Like the three personalities
sort of
like neutral, negative, positive, all that shit. But it was like, because they were like talking about me, and like I could like feel that they were there. And I didn't want to look at them, but I could see them as well, even though I wasn't looking there. So you know how it is.
Smack the negative one. Get the fuck out of here, bitch.
No, it was terrifying. And then also I was like, I could feel because my throat was so dry because I wasn't drinking water. I was so stressed out. I could feel every hair, or what. Like what I thought was the hair in my throat. So every time I swallowed, the hairs would stab into the side of my throat.
Fuck.
I was like, and I couldn't breathe, and my nose was blocked at the time. So in my head, I heard this little siren going off. And there were these little workers inside me, these little tiny workers, and there was a siren going off in my nose, and they were like, "We're gonna evacuate the nose, it's fucked." Like I couldn't breathe through my nose, so I was like breathing through my mouth.
Yeah.
And these little workers were running down into my lungs, and my lungs were on fire, and they were hurting because I was smoking, and they were yelling at me. They're like, "Why have you done this? Like, why have you you've ruining your body?"
Yeah, you probably also, because of the reaction that you got, your body's reacting to it, you probably freaked yourself out a little bit as well, because you're like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm not used to any of this,
isn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So you're freaking out. So then your thought, then the trip becomes worse as well, because you sort of
not prepared at all. Like that's the thing. It's like, oh fuck, I've never had this before. Oh shit, I'm not prepared. I don't know what's gonna happen suddenly, and you don't know if it's gonna end. Yeah. You don't know what it's gonna be like
that forever.
Yeah. You don't know what you've taken. You don't know if it's gonna break your mind or something. Like that was intense.
Whereas if someone said to you, hey, smoke this, but you could have a different effect, blah blah blah. Maybe if you're a bit more mentally prepared, it would have been a different story.
Yeah. My mind was like this, and then it was like, it felt something different. It went, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then suddenly it was like, oh fuck, and closed. And then it was like bang, bang, all this shit just hitting it. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, it was the worst experience of my life. And that's why I've got this major anxiety about anything to do with food or just anybody giving me stuff, because it's like, it was like a broken trust. Someone I knew gave me something that fucked me up good. And it's like, now I can't take anything from anybody. And it's like, you know, that complex about it. It's like, even if it's just food I'm eating or like even water I'm drinking out the tap. I'm like, what if? My brain suddenly goes, what if? And I go, shut the fuck up. And usually I get over it, but it's still always there.
Yeah, that's
it's
weird.
terrible,
It's
bro.
sort of
Even,
like...
even when I like, if like fucking, I don't know, like
that sort of experience.
Even like if I'm around friends who I know are like, you know, my friends, I'm just sitting there. I'm not doing acid or anything, but he's just done a bit of acid, and then I'm like, don't touch me. Because I don't want you to like get it on me or something, like just shit like that. Like it's just, I suddenly panic and I'm like, I can't deal with that.
Bit paranoid as well because you don't want to experience it.
It fucks me up so bad, right? So yeah, that's why I think I'm not ready yet to do it. Like when I've got in control of my head and kind of got the tools to kind of be in control of my mind, not just the panic come through immediately. It's like then I'll be able to, you know, settle in and accept and be open to the experience instead of, because if I did it now, it would be fighting the whole way through. I'd be fighting the whole way through, and that's what gives you a bad trip.
That makes it worse.
So yeah, that's why I'm not ready. But then, you know, when I hear people on Joe Rogan talk about it, I'm like, fuck, it sounds so good. Like it sounds like it opens your mind so much.
It does. Yeah. But you gotta be like, before I've done mushrooms, I've researched the shit out of it for months. I've listened to so many podcasts, I read books about it, I've done so much. So I knew what to expect and I was mentally ready for it. I'm like, okay, I want to learn from this experience.
Yep.
So when I did it, I had an awesome trip because I knew what I was expecting. But if someone gave me an apple and sort of put some mushrooms in it and all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, what's happening? I would have freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because you sort of, your body starts, you just feel different.
Because there's suddenly you don't know. There's not a clarity of like, oh yeah, I know what this is. It's like, wait.
Yeah, especially the first time. Like I've done mushrooms, I don't know, 4 or 5 times now. So I'm sort of used to it. Like I know what's happening. I know before I even take it, I'm like, okay, I want this experience out of it. You know what I mean? I want to
so learn. You can guide it yourself.
Yeah, you sort
that's
of
awesome.
Exactly. So that's how I do it now. And
yeah, I got to do a bit of work before I can do it, because that's what I want out of it. I don't want to do it and be like not sure the whole time. I want to be like, let's try something else. Let's, you know, because it's a tool, isn't it?
It is. Bless you. Because I've never done anything other than mushrooms and smoking weed. Like I've never done any of the other synthetic drugs or anything. I just rather not. I was sort of open to mushrooms just because of the fact that it's natural. It comes out of the ground. It's nature.
It's synthetic crap.
Yeah, and you can't get addicted to it. You can't overdose on it. Yeah, you can have a bad trip if you're not mentally ready for it. But as long as you sort of, you know what you're going into and you know what to sort of look for, then it sort of always puts you in the right direction in a way. Like I was never, you know, you see plants, you see trees, you're like, yeah, they're alive, but I never cared about them. You know, my first time I did mushrooms, I could feel the energy flowing through these things, and I'm like, holy fuck, they're like actually alive.
Suddenly
that was the first time I felt them being alive.
Yeah, that veil's lifted, and suddenly you see. Yeah. You're like, whoa, how have I missed this?
Holy shit! Yeah, like they're all around us, but we don't pay attention because to plants and to trees, like time moves at a different rate.
Yeah.
We don't pay attention.
Well, that's what happened to me sometimes when I smoke a shitload of weed. I'd look at the trees and the way they're swaying in the wind. I'm like, fuck, man, they're alive. What's the, you know, like I'm here for like a fraction of that tree's life. Like bang, I'm gone.
Yeah, some trees are fucking alive for like hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So you're only here for a short time.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's, when I've gotten real high, that's usually what happens. I start looking at trees. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. That tree is like, you know, for us it's growing real slow, but that tree is just going, you know. Imagine if they could talk, my God.
Imagine if there was another species, like other than us, that we could communicate with. Like that we just...
That we could actually...
The intelligence level, let's say, was very similar. You know, imagine if there was something else.
You reckon if we put speech brain chips into octopus, they could speak to us? Like it would, like a, you know, Stephen Hawking style thing? Put them into a computer where they can speak through it?
Fuck, I don't know.
That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
That would be insane.
But like, imagine if I don't know, pick an animal.
I'd go octopus, bro.
Imagine if the octopi, if they could talk.
Yeah, they'd tell us some shit.
Yeah. Would they? I don't know. Would they sort of? Would they want to talk to us? Would they want to?
I don't know. They seem like curious creatures.
Or would they just be like, "Fuck you, we're smarter than you," and
hopefully. Give us a real ego check.
Give us a challenge.
Yeah, fucking. Now we've given them the brain chip, they suddenly start developing their own weapons, and they're like, all right, we're doing a hostile takeover. Fuck you.
You dive in the you dive underwater. They've got like fucking. He's got like a helmet. They're welding shit together.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's like the Atlantis they're building. They're rebuilding Atlantis. That'd be fucked, bro. Well, we've done an hour 15.
Yeah, boy, an hour 15.
Yeah.
Not bad. Good size.
Mm-hmm.
Good size. That was a fun episode. Talk about a bit of everything, I guess.
Yeah, a bit of free talk. It's always good. God damn, bro. I gotta go do some shopping after this. Got no food.
I'm playing tennis.
Really?
Yeah.
After this?
My mate booked a tennis court. I'm gonna go there. I done my shopping last night.
Yeah, I gotta do it today.
I don't have anything else to do today, so it should be pretty cool. And
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to do for the rest of the
You've
week.
given up work. I just got work all week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
Tuesday to Friday, good work.
Yeah, I'm on a bit of a break at the moment. Take a couple of weeks off.
Yeah, it's good.
Been a bit
It's
stressful.
good. It's just shit that Jiu-Jitsu decided to as well.
Cause like I was talking to my mum, I'm like, yeah, I just want to like focus on jiu-jitsu, this, that.
Then Will's
then-
like, oh, yeah, mate.
I was like, good morning, guys.
No.
Here's a text message to ruin your day.
Yeah, that.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's.
Oh well, it is what it is, eh? We just gotta fucking suck it up and not
we've
be a fucking princess about it.
We've waited 6 months. We can wait another.
Exactly.
However long.
Exactly.
Ah.
There's other shit to worry about at the moment.
No, there's not.
But hey, the world moves on, right?
Yeah, we're not here.
The
for
world keeps spinning. There's always another day, and I'm just curious. I'm just fucking interested to see what's next. Cause I feel like there's always, especially lately, there's gonna be something else, man. Like, what is next? I'm always curious. What's next?
long.
You know?
At the moment, for sure.
Are we gonna have fucking Pentagon saying, "Oh yeah, we actually found an alien. We actually found some of them. We're in contact with them right now. We're studying them."
Dude,
Is that what's next?
where are the aliens? Like, where do you think they would be if they were here?
Here. No, they'll already be here.
Yeah, but where?
I don't know. Probably one of us. If the technology is good
Oh,
enough.
imagine if you are an alien. You just forgot.
You just don't know, yeah. You just don't know.
Jesus. What if we are the aliens?
Yeah, what if this world only had a bunch of dumb animals and we just...
We came here and forgot.
Yeah.
And all that spacecraft shit is actually ours. We just forgot.
Yeah.
No, let's not be that arrogant. No, there's aliens here. But why are they only in America? If I was an alien, I'd come to somewhere like Australia or probably the Antarctic where there's less of us. Like,
Yeah,
Australia's empty as fuck, bro.
Yeah, but what if... Okay, if you were to go to Mars and you found an alien life form, would you go somewhere that's just a fucking desert, or would you want to go somewhere to have
Depends,
a
but
look at the
they might
aliens?
not be like us. They might not want to contact with other species. And if you saw that,
But you'd
what
still wanna
those,
study
if
them.
you were looking at that species and you saw they did all the shit we did, you'd be like,
Yeah, true.
no. If I present myself to them, they're gonna fucking kill me, or they're gonna take all my shit. Like that's the only way they work. So I wouldn't be surprised if the aliens have observed and been like, no, you guys are stupid. No, you guys are crazy, and you just want to monopolize and
fucking animals.
conquer and kill. And if we present ourselves and try to, give you our knowledge, you're going to accept it, but then you're going to take our spaceship, you're going to take us, you're going to grill us for information, you're going to torture us, take everything we know. Yeah, it's not going to be great. So we're going to stay over here, and we're going to observe you from a distance. We're going to be the, farmer in the outback of Australia, pretending to be the farmer, but we're actually observing everything. Or they're the politicians.
It's like in, what's
Testing
that?
us.
Rick and Morty, how there's like it's like the world that they're in is actually part of a TV show. Have you seen that episode?
Yeah, which are you talking about? International cable?
It's like they're in a like a pop star singing competition.
Oh my god,
Like
yeah,
the
the
idol?
planets, the heads have got all the planets together and they're like, show us what you got. And they're like, fucking, it's like American Idol, but planets or something.
Show us what you got. And
Show
then they
us
just
what you
destroy
got.
the planet that...
We like what you've got, you win. And then they don't kill them, but they blow up all the other planets. It's like, shit. Yeah, well, that could possibly... Imagine if fuck, man. Imagine if that happens one day. Oh, there's too much... I wouldn't be surprised. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I don't want to die, but I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I honestly know. But I'm curious. I am curious. I'm like, I've sort of Just like, yeah, all right, what's next? Give me something new.
Literally, the only thing that's been keeping me like feeling like things are normal anymore is I've started watching AFL again. And I'm like, oh, if they're doing that, the world can't be that fucked. And then stuff like, you know, just continue watching YouTube. I'm like, people are still doing their stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and people are still doing their thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, things are still moving.
Mm. Things are still moving, but it's just
stopped,
moving in a
if
different...
things, like, really stopped working, like, just things didn't, like, systems stopped working, I'd be like, oh, fuck. It's going to turn into The Last of Us without the zombies.
We'll always find a way. We'll always adapt. That's just how we are. It's in our DNA. We're not going to just stop and give up. But
problem is we've just put so much energy into this way of society.
Well, yeah. Now we're learning how
we've implemented this so thoroughly that it's so difficult to suddenly just pick up and change everything. Okay, we have to make a change, but all these systems are in place so firm. It's going to be difficult, and that's why it's such a shock to everybody. Like, what? We can't go to work? What? We can't send our kids to school? We can't get whatever food we want from the shops?
Even with my work, in the morning when you first go in, before you even do anything, you have to check your temperature, and you have to fill out a questionnaire every day.
Turn over to work? Mm-hmm. Jesus, we don't do that in my work.
We only just started last week.
Right. Well, maybe that's the thing. Yeah, because my work's a freaking frontline business.
It's like, what's your temperature this morning? And you log it in. It's like, are you feeling unwell? You know, you answer. And if you answer it in a way where it could sort of, hey, what's going on?
What happens if you answer yes? They just send you home?
And it'd be like, no, it would just be like, call your manager. You shouldn't be at work. That's what it says.
Jesus.
Yeah. One of them was like, are you fit and healthy? And everyone in my shop was like, I'm not fucking fit.
Kind of, I guess. What do we call fit? Do we call eating 6 pizzas at once? Is that a feat of its own? Like, no, man.
This was a fun episode.
Yeah, it's a
episode 6 wrapped up.
Interesting times. That's what I'm going to call this episode. Interesting times.
Interesting times. It is.
I'll just call it that because coming up with the name's fucking a stressful thing. Last week I'm calling you. I'm like, what are we gonna fucking call the episode, bro?
Fuck me.
Yeah.
No. Interesting. I'm happy with that.
Interesting times.
Interesting times.
You hear the cat?
Huh?
The cat's eating away. Fuck you. Why don't we get? We need to get the animals up here, man. As part of the gig here.
I know. We should
Charlie,
get the
Olive, Honey. No, they just shit everywhere. Dude, I saw the grossest shit yesterday. Chicken did a big diarrhea shit on the concrete over there. And I was just like, oh.
And what, Honey licked it off or something?
Honey comes over and licks it up like a wet, dogs milky pancake.
Dogs do that.
I was like, oh my God. I nearly threw up, bro. I was just like, Honey. And then she comes over, she's like, she's got shit all over her face. She's like, trying to lick me. I'm like, get the fuck away from me. Get. And I'm like kicking her. I'm like, ostracized, you sick shit-eating bitch.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Sick shit-eating bitch. Name the episode that.
Sick shit-eating bitch. Fuck, man.
Funny.
Can I?
Fuck it.
Can I put those names? Yeah, sick shit-eating bitch. That sounds so mean, though, and so full on. People would just be like, wow, these guys are so insensitive.
Wow, look, episode 6 and they're fucking going at it.
Yeah, God, they think they own the joint, huh? Sick shit-eating
bitch.
Well, she is.
Yeah.
She is a sick.
She's definitely a bitch. I don't know if she is a shit. I haven't.
She's a shit eater.
She's a bitch for sure. Every time I'm like, hey, honey, she's just like.
On her back.
Oh my God.
She's got no eternal fortitude. She's a whore.
Yeah.
She's just a whore. She's like, touch me and then.
Who cares?
Fuck off.
She's enjoying life. Who the fuck cares?
Shit eating whore. How about
That's just.
That's so fun. We're gonna get in so much trouble with this, man.
Alright, you want to leave it at that?
Sisters listen to this shit.
Oh shit. Sorry, sisters.
Oh yeah. Be better than me. God.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well.
Alright. Well, thanks for listening. That was fun.
Thanks guys. Catch up next episode or don't.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't care.
Yeah. We're just gonna keep doing it though. Anyway. See you later. Thanks for listening. Bye.